In this video, I'm going to showcase the types of giants that you find in Dungeons and Dragons. And right here we have the same book, two different cover copies. We have the original on the left and the more modern deluxe edition on the right. And in this book, it lays out the 5 kind of giants that you're going to see typically in, they're called your standard giants because there are more, but these are the 5 main ones in this book here. So I'm going to pull up the artwork and read you a little bit from the book, and then also add my own brief notes in for each giant type. And then, forgot if I mentioned, but I'll be showing off the artwork too, and get some nice close-ups on it. And I looked on the internet, and some of these images are on there, but they're actually less quality than what I could get right now. So here on page 44, it talks about giants. And then I'm going to describe the giants in order of their ranking of how powerful they are, from the least to the greatest. And in the book here, they're listed alphabetically, so it's a little bit different. But anyway, so giants overall, you see it says here, they're huge humanoids. Looks like there's 6 major races. All the giants are very strong, with strength ranging from 19 to 25. Now, those numbers probably don't mean much to you unless you know how to play the advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Well, they really don't mean that much to me right now, and they don't really matter. But more importantly is the lore that they established on the giants. Like below it says, giants are cave dwellers. Most of them are cave dwellers. And just like in the stories, they have sacks and they walk around and they have various things in them. They like to throw rocks, and they usually have a lot of treasure on them, usually in their sack too. And importantly, it says they're often stupid, but they're cunning too. So they could think of creative ways to kill people and kill things. So the least powerful of the major races, as they say here, is the hill giant. Now, the hill giant really looks the most human-like out of all the giants. Kind of has what we call regular skin. I think all the other ones have something going on, but this is just like a giant person who has a really nasty society, and you see their alignment is chaotic evil. Let me move down or widen it out so you can see the text as well. So they're evil giants. They don't care. Really, their main motivation is hunger. So they're usually killing things to eat it, and that's their favorite activity. And although they are the smallest and the least powerful of the giants, it's important to remember that your average hill giant is still bigger than the vast majority of the ogres, of orcs, of trolls, stuff of that nature. So they are at the bottom of the giant chain of command, but they're definitely not the bottom of the totem pole. And then next up on the scale of weak to strong is the stone giant, seen pictured here with a cave bear and a stone club. Now the stone giants have a neutral alignment, as you can see off over here. There we go. And then I'll focus it. Perfect. So here's our stone giant. They're neutral. So stone giants don't really take a side in good versus evil. They just try to exist in harmony with themselves, which is really in harmony with the stone. And they go live in their deep caves and practice artwork and such, and try to be left alone for the most part. And then the third type of giant is the fire giant. Seen here with a helmet, very long sword, and what looks like metal armor. Fire giants are the most militaristic out of all the giants. You see their alignment here, lawful, evil. So that goes hand in hand with the evil, militaristic attitude. And they love running out and conquering and killing. And it says here, they're often found in castles as well as caverns. And then the next step up from the fire giant is going to be the fourth kind of giant, and that is the frost giant. An interesting picture with a blackened out background. But there you see the frost giant, which is really your typical Nordic giant that you would read about in Norse mythology. At least that's what they're going off of. Chaotic evil. So they're kind of similar to the fire giant, as they get in war bands and they like to run around and kill stuff and do whatever selfish things they want to do. But they're more chaotic opposed to lawful. So it's more of a, chaotic mess when they run around and pillage, and they don't have the organization or perhaps the tactics employed by the fire giants below them. And then the second, the most powerful major race of giant is the cloud giant. And you see the cloud giant here is of, and this is interesting how they do alignment here, and I'll have to go read at the end of this, and we'll look in the book and we'll figure out what exactly this means, because it says neutral, then in parentheses it says good 50%, evil 50%. So that's kind of a weird way of saying neutral. I think what they're saying is that overall the race is neutral, because half of them are good, half of them are evil. But the way they have it worded here kind of contradicts what they change the system to later on. But I could almost assure you that what it's saying here is half of the cloud giants are good and half them are evil, and that individually they're not neutral in alignment. It just, they could go either way. And of course, the cloud giants live in the clouds, which are pictured down here. castle in the clouds. And why might it be on the other side of the book, you might ask? Well, it's because the most powerful race of the main giants also might live in the clouds, and they're called storm giants. You see I think they're really showing off the magical power of the storm giant here in the picture. Now, if you notice, storm giants are chaotic good. So that's the one strongest race of giants is the only one that all the giants are good. So that's an interesting thing to think about. And later on, in 5th edition, which way later on, talking about 30, 40 years or something, they expanded more on the rank of giants and how they all interact and the political structure behind it, and they kind of explained how it works and how some giants are good and some are evil, but they still are part of the same political system. It's kind of interesting how they talked about that. It's definitely a new concept that was not brought up back when this book was first published. But yeah, that's a little bit of information about the giants of Dungeons and Dragons, and you'll see these 6 giants have always been the 6 major giant races in all the Dungeons and Dragons editions. And now the last thing I'll do is, if you're interested, I'll go and look and see that question about the neutral 50% alignment question. I'll show you how you could look that up and how I could try to get you the best answer instead of leaving it open-ended like that. So in the front of the book, it explains all the qualities. Right here, it actually says explanatory notes. Let me focus it. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We're looking for alignment. Here it is. Alignment shows the characteristic bent of a monster to law or chaos, good or evil, or towards neutral behavior, possibly modified by good or evil intent. It is important with regard to the general behavior of the monster when encountered. So as you can see, things back in these days were more vague than modern rules. But what it really points out here, it points out 2 spectrums. You have law versus chaos, and you have good versus evil. And in modern D&D, they use those same 2 spectrums, and they put a neutral option in the middle of both of them. And then that gives your neutral position, which is neutral in both of those. Now, or towards neutral behavior, possibly modified by good or evil intent. I really don't know. It is what it is. I can't really explain it any better than that. They don't really explain what the parentheses means or nothing like that. But there you have it. That is a look at this special edition reprint of the very first advanced D&D monster manual. And also you took a look at this older edition too. I'll show you the back cover of that. Thank you for watching.